Hey,
Hey.
Rick.
hmm
How did you start it?
You mean acting or verticals?
Both.
Well, right now I'm in Burbank, California, and I'm sitting just about a mile or two from where I grew up. And here in Burbank, there is Warner Brothers Studios,
Hmm.
Disney Studios, Universal Studios, NBC and ABC. A big piece of Hollywood filmmaking is right here in my neighborhood. So when I went to school, I grew up among kids whose parents worked at the studios. And the parents oftentimes were training the kids to become studio employees, either in administrative capacities or in career jobs, like they may want to become casting directors or producers or directors and writers. Um, and so I was used to being around that element all my life. And so when I was a child, I started going over to Warner Brothers because my mother was the accountant there for the payroll, and she wrote all the movie stars' checks out every week, and she'd bring them home to sign them and fill them out on her little machine, and I would help her do it. And my little brother would help her do it, and so we were very immersed in it, you know. So it was natural to get involved. So every day after school, I would go on the back lot at Warner Brothers, and I'd watch them making TV shows and making movies, and it was just a blast. I had a great time, and it was just a natural part of my life. It would be like if I lived in a farm community, chances are I'd become a farmer. So it's the same thing here, I'm becoming someone in the industry. So a lot of people who live in this neighborhood are in the business, the entertainment business. And so I just always kind of gravitated toward performing. It was just real natural. Uh, I was the firstborn child. My mom was the youngest of four, the first to have a child. When she was 18, it was a surprise. It wasn't planned. And so I got a lot of special treatment being the first of the grandkids, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And and so my life has been more emotional and more, more performing. Whereas my brother, being the second born, was buttoned down, loyal, true. He became an accountant just like mom, linear thinker, and great, grace under fire, and a great temperament. So here we are, two different worlds. Do you have brothers or sisters?
I have a big brother, yes.
All right. What's the age difference between you two?
2.5 years.
Okay, okay. So my brother Dave and I are 4 years apart. So he's your older brother?
Yeah.
Was he a good older brother growing up? Did he protect you and do all that stuff?
Um. Yeah. Now I.
Or was he a teaser? He teased you and
Uh.
pushed you.
I think a good combination of both.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good. So you can understand that
Yeah.
influence, huh? On all that. That's very interesting. That's
And
very
I
interesting.
think also the part where you were talking about your mom,
Yeah.
and because my father was in the computer business.
hmm
So when I was like really young, I always um, go with him to his work. I was like
Ah,
watching him repairing
right,
computers,
right.
and that's how I came l- loving the business too. So
Really interesting. Um, did you enjoy getting on the creative side of the computer work when you started learning it?
yeah,
Probably, huh? Yeah. And you probably used it a lot in your education growing up.
yeah. But I,
We didn't have that. We didn't have computers when we were growing up.
what
Yeah, so many opportunities.
what did you uh, do like on a daily basis? Because I have like now computers and anything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny, I use my computers more than anything else for texting,
Hmm.
sending photos, doing a lot of publicity and public relations and that sort of stuff for my career. Because so much of it is what we're doing right now. You don't get a chance to be on set all the time. Here's the script for my next one that I'm starting shooting this week.
Was that the one you were
30
talking
days.
about?
Yeah, the one I mentioned to you, 30 Days to Find Love. Right. No, it's 30 Days to Love. Doesn't tell you how to find it. They never tell you how to find it. You know? But I'm getting a chance to work with the production team that did Matrimony. Have you seen Matrimony?
Yeah, on Viclu. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. You remember that because there's so many streaming companies, and you remember Viglo. Good, good, good.
Yeah,
Because they love working with us, and it was such a big hit that they're joining me with Jackson Tiller again. And this was only this time he's not playing my son; he's playing my son-in-law, and Grace Swanson from Driven to Love is playing my daughter.
yeah.
So that's a nice little triangle going there, right? And then Adam Chisnell, he's coming in for another role as well. And so it's like old home week. Same directors, same producers we've worked with before, and just a great team at Production House 8. Production 8. Right?
I love that.
Yeah, and we'll start shooting this week, and we shoot about 10 episodes a day. And I notice that most of the young actors today don't use scripts; they just put them on their phones. But I need scripts because I'm always writing notes, copious notes, all the time.
Is this
All the time.
how you
Hmm?
organize, like how you prepare?
Yes, I break down the script, break it down into beats and all that, and it's a different world. It's a different world. But I need the script in hand so I can keep writing notes and thinking, oh, I should do this and write. When it's on your phone, you don't have any of those. There's less prep and more winging it. And for me, I can wing it, but I prefer to have a compass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it.
On true north now. So it's sort of fun. That's the fun part of the job that nobody knows about. When you get out all your highlighters and write, for instance, when I'll highlight a page, I don't know if you're interested in this, it's probably silly, but okay, when I highlight a page, right, I have color coordinators, right? So you see the green at the top, that's always the location, right? The pink is always the action and the emotion, right? And then the yellow is always highlighting the lines to memorize that I have to play. And so if I ever want to wonder, okay, what's going on in these next 5 scenes? Because sometimes we'll shoot 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 10 scenes in a row if they're all happening in real time. Like, scenes when you have family confrontations and it'll be 10 pages and it'll wind up being 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Because each episode's about a minute, right? I go to the pink section. I think, okay, what is my emotional train? Where am I going? What am I thinking and feeling in this scene? And that's my guide. So I have to keep returning to it. And sometimes the director has a different idea about how they want you to play it. So you have to make that adjustment as well. So I always return to my script and the notes to do it.
Were those yellow lines yours?
Yes.
Like
Yes. I go through a lot of highlighters every time I do it.
No, I love that you showed me that because that's the first one for me. So
yeah, it's a different world. There's a mystery to performing and filmmaking, and people who love films, they know they love it because of a visceral thing. It gets them in the heart.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes even gets their logic. Oh yeah, I like that. Like a good murder mystery. When you're trying to solve who done it, that's up in the head. Right? But romance is always in the heart. And then action, if you're going to do an action film, well, that's down in the gut. That's your street smarts, your ability to survive in the streets. And then if it becomes like a horror film, where it's life or death. Then it's all the way down into the loins. It's your all of your vital organs. If without them, you'd be dead. And so those are like four centers that you reach to, depending on where your character is at any given time. And that's your guide. And that's all part of what we call orchestration. We're orchestrating the scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
A script is not unlike sheet music. You know, if you ever go to you ever been to a concert where you see the composer
Yeah.
and the orchestra, and they all have their instruments, right? But they also have the sheet music in front of them all the time,
True.
and looking at the conductor all the time. And they have the technique and the talent and all that, and they're doing all this, but they're watching this because that's their guide, and the conductor's their guide. So actors have to do the same thing, or should, if they want to get really true organic performances. This kind of heavy stuff to be talking about, isn't it, on the weekend?
No, it's very interesting to me, and especially not to be mean, but I have spoke mostly to the ones that are leading.
Yeah, right.
So I like
Young stars.
hearing your side, and I spoke with Toby a few days ago. Toby Brett, or how do you?
Yeah, they'll be.
Toby
I'm not sure.
Toby that is also doing a lot of supporting roles, and
Yeah, yeah,
so I like
yeah.
hearing each side. It's so interesting.
Yeah. Well, everybody's different. You know, everybody's approach is different. There are different methods of acting. Uh, the bottom line is the same. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter to me if you study with Stella Adler or Lee Strasberg. It doesn't matter who you study with. It only matters how you approach your work, and if the goal is to be organic. Organic meaning natural, real, honest. Like right now, you and I are just talking, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right. Now, could this be scripted? Sure. Everything we're saying could be scripted words on a page, but the audience shouldn't see that. They should just see two people having a real talk,
Hmm.
and that's our job to bring that to the work. And so you don't even have to have a relationship with someone off camera. You don't even. So oftentimes I have the father son or the grandfather son, and they're and I'm always making demands of them. It's always personal, very emotional and personal. But off screen, we're just, hey, how you doing? Oh, good to see you again. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? It's a different world.
Yeah. Um. What?
You're picking a juicy one.
Sorry. What did you say?
Are you picking a good juicy question for me now? You're looking up. You're like, I got to give him a hard one.
This was, I think, a question somebody asked me if I want to ask you that. What did you learn the most with doing verticals?
Um, what changes in verticals more than anything else is what we call your proscenium. You remember that word proscenium? The proscenium is a stage is horizontal. Like right now, we look at the screen. I'm in a horizontal screen. You're in a vertical screen, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. But you see how I'm laid out? Basically, the screen that I'm in, here's one hand at one side of the screen, here's at the other. That's how different, right? And
For me, it's
that's called the proscenium. So at a theater, this is called the proscenium arch, which means this is the framework there, and all the curtains are behind that, and the sets are behind that, and then you can come down to the apron and get closer to the audience. So it's proscenium. It's horizontal, basically. Or on your camera, it would be panoramic, right? To get the wide thing. So what you learn to do in the verticals, you realize, okay, my proscenium isn't this anymore. My proscenium is this. Okay, it's this. So, for instance, if I'm in a horizontal scene and I'm coming on camera and I've got my morning coffee, I'm looking out at the day. I would look like this and say, "Oh boy, what a beautiful day," right? Like that. But in vertical, you come out with a coffee and it's, "Oh, what a beautiful day." It's all right there. Everything is there. You're basically playing in a doorway down a tunnel.
Right.
It's all this. And even if it's lying flat, it's vertical, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everything we do is vertically driven. So it brings us into the center this way. And there is nothing here. There is nothing here. The whole world exists in this thin corridor. And you have to get your mindset to that. When you're doing gestures and thoughts, and when you're looking away, if I'm looking at you and I want the audience to see that I don't trust you, I don't have to go over here and have a separate camera show that I don't trust her, but now I'm going to put my game face on and now I'll come back. No, I can do it right here. I'm looking at you right now, and I'm looking at you in the face, and just looking down there, I have that little look for a moment, and I don't trust you, and I come back up to you. I don't have to go that far away to have those little private moments. So you learn to reshape how you perform. And it's not unlike a band that goes into a bar to play, and they say, "Oh, okay, well we got a post here, so we're going to move this here, and oh, we don't have good speakers here, so you have to make all these ambient changes for your presentation to be the most effective, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So it's always that. It's always that. And with verticals, they're shooting usually two cameras at the same time, so they'll get the full shot of you at the same time that they're getting a close up of you.
How did you right away knew that it was a vertical when you arrived on your first one?
Well, I was fortunate. I was in Taiwan about 4 years ago doing a TV series on Netflix called "Mom, Don't Do That,"
Mm-hmm.
Chinese series, and I noticed everybody's on their phones on the streets. Everybody's on their phones. Everybody's here. They're doing they're laughing and go look at, and really, I'm wondering what are they doing? What are they all watching? And so I looked over the shoulder of a girl on the subway, and it's little mini soap operas. And I'm watching this. Oh, this is interesting. But I also noticed that each episode was really short, right? 1 minute. Oh, and then a break. 1 minute and then a break. And I'm thinking, this is going to come to the USA. This is going to come to Europe. This is going to come to the rest of the world
Yeah.
because it's viable. It's popular. We're all using TikTok now, right? Everybody's working in the vertical mode, and the proof is in. Do you ever go to live concerts?
Yeah.
Okay, you notice how it used to be when you go to live concerts and people are in the audience, they're photographing the concert like this, right?
Yeah.
Because after all, the stage is
Yeah.
proscenium, it's horizontal, right? Okay, but now everybody's shooting them like this. Everybody is videoing vertical, taking photos vertical. Everything's vertical. It's just a natural. I don't know. It's natural for everybody. It's easier to hold the camera that way, and easier. Anyway, it's a phenomenon that isn't going to go away. These verties, they're here to stay. Now it's only a question of how they evolve now.
Yeah. I know it's gonna be bigger and bigger. For
Yeah, yeah,
example, not a lot of people around me know what it is yet.
right, right, right. Do you live in the city, or you live more in the suburb or the boroughs, or more of an urban area?
I live in a city, big city.
Do you see people walking around on their phones, watching all the time, viewing?
You mean like verticals or?
No, just watching. A lot of time
Oh,
spending on their phone,
yeah,
watching other entertainment.
yeah. Then
Because
yeah,
if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you watch that vertically too, don't you?
that's true. Yeah,
Everybody's doing that. So I'm surprised here in California of how many people in my business in the entertainment industry don't even know what verticals are? What do you mean verticals? I'm shooting a vertical miniseries. What do you mean? It's a vertical miniseries for your phone. What? Yeah, that you watch vertically on your phone, just like TikTok. No, they don't believe it. And then I say, okay, go to Vigloo, go to Real Short, go to go to any one of the drama box, any one of these you want to go for, right? And check them out. And the nice thing is most of these shows they let you watch the first 10 episodes for free, right? To premiere it before they hook you, which is really fair, isn't it? Do you find yourself ever looking at a new show and you watch the first 10 episodes and then the paywall comes up and then you think, nah, I don't like this one enough to watch the rest of it. I'm gonna go and find something else. Do you preview a lot of shows before you agree to watch them?
Yeah, I
Yeah. Yeah.
watch a lot of them, but not everything. Like when uh, I have one, I'm not gonna say the name, but violence, I skip
Mm-hmm.
when I feel like it's too much.
Yeah.
Then I
Yeah.
skip.
Yeah. 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 And one thing about vertical, all that's happening to you so much closer, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When you see it so much, if you see me strangling a woman from 10 feet away, that's not as impactful as if I'm here, and that's the vertical shock value, isn't it?
Or I also skip when I feel like it's too triggery for me.
To
Trick-
trickery,
trigger,
to triggering.
triggering. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how are you about seeing the ones that are that have abuse toward women?
Oh no, 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 no.
And but you do find a lot of them, don't you?
Yeah, I think in almost every single one there's is a little part
Yeah,
of them like abusing women.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's important, I think, if you're against that, and who isn't against that, I think it's important for you to then turn off those shows.
I do.
Just don't watch them because again, if people weren't watching them, they wouldn't be making them.
Yeah, true.
So we need to be more discerning in our taste in what we watch because after all, we're sending a signal every time we say, I like this.
Yeah,
Then
then
suddenly that's all you see. That's all they send you is, oh, she likes these rom-coms. Give her rom-coms, right? Um, Also, some of it is cultural because this all started in China and then it's spun off into South Korea and in Japan. When I was there, China was doing it. They were doing the full-on episodes like we're doing right now. They're like about 4 years ahead of us, right? But we will find our own way to do these, and we'll change that. But they 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 argue in China that it's very popular women being victimized as an entertainment form because it's a great what they feel is a great theatrical or a great dramatic device to hook the audience. Oh, look, he's beating her up. Now you're not going to change channel because you want to make sure the girl's okay.
mm-hmm.
So that's what keeps it there.
Yeah.
But the trouble is when I hear someone from China defend saying, "Oh no, it's very popular over there." No, 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 it's very popular with men over there because no woman over there is going to want to watch that. But sometimes they do. Sometimes it's therapeutic. Sometimes they are abused in their relationship. And now they're saying, oh, I'm not alone. So they escape to these movies as a kind of therapy. But the trouble is, it doesn't cure the problem.
No.
And it probably only makes it worse. You know what I mean? It's a delicate balance when the cultural shifts occur. What we want in the USA is different than what you may want in the Netherlands, which is definitely going to be different than what you want in Germany or Scandinavia, or in London, Paris. Everybody's different.
That's true.
So finding that cultural balance is what whatever we're all trying to do, I think.
I do like in the vertical fandoms, or is this main subject the most important at the moment? Like
Oh,
physical abuse against women.
well, I'm seeing it. I mean, you're seeing it. You can speak better than I because you probably watch more of these than I do.
Hmm.
Do you watch a lot of articles?
At the moment, a little less, but still a few.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you're picky about the ones you choose. Now, what makes you watch one? Is it certain stars that you like to that you gravitate toward, or is it the subject matter?
Mm, I do have like stars that I like to watch in verticals,
Right,
but
right, right.
it also depends on the story for me.
Of course, of course. Well, they're making them all over the country now. I mean, all over the country, all over the world now. Are you seeing any verticals being shot in your area?
No, not yet. I know back in January or something.
Hmm.
No, in March. Autumn Noel was in Amsterdam
Right.
for like for the vertical industry, but
Yeah.
not like filming. No.
Yeah. No, no. Well, you're going to be seeing more of it. You'll be seeing more of it. But once again, it's like here, so many of the shows we shoot are in mansions,
Hmm.
and the crew is not. If it's a Warner Brothers or a Universal or a Disney film, you'll see these huge 40-foot vans, these white vans full of equipment, lighting equipment, sound equipment, all these. I mean, all these not sound equipment, all these necessary tools for making films. And so they'll come to some neighborhood and there'll be like 10, 11 of these big trucks occupying all the parking spots. So we clearly know when they're making a film. But with verticals, they don't really know that we're even making movies inside that mansion as they drive by. So it's kind of under the radar making verticals in that regard,
At the moment,
you know.
yes.
And,
I think when it gets bigger, and I know it will get bigger, then maybe.
yeah. Well, it's exciting though, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
exciting to wait and see. To wait and see.
true.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I took you off your course. You
Oh
got
no,
another question?
no, it's totally okay. I love to listen to whatever you want to tell me. So,
Well, I wind up interviewing you a little bit because you're the person that I work for, really.
what do you want to know then?
Well, I want to know what your likes are and what you don't like and what you find yourself gravitating toward. I'm fascinated to know about what draws people to vertical shows because it's a whole different world. It makes sense. 60 seconds for an episode. Okay, I got another 60 seconds. Well, you could if you're at work and you go out for a smoke break, you can watch 5 episodes. So I get it. I mean, I get it. It's kind of like saying, I want to listen to some music. And you put your, earbuds in. You're listening to some great music.
Mhm.
And you can still do work and you still do things. But I wonder how many people are sitting in their offices and their cubicles and they got their phone up there and they're working, but they're also watching. They don't want to miss anything.
I do that.
That's you. Busted. I busted you. Well, admit I did it. I do it. Don't tell my boss.
I do when I have like breaks. Then I
Yeah,
have my phone like in front of me and my
yeah,
computer behind that,
yeah,
and then I have like headphones on,
yeah,
like streaming verticals while I
yeah,
work.
yeah. Well, so you're all geared up and ready. You're working. That's multitasking, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah. And to answer your question, what I like, I am into horror stuff.
Mm, you like getting scared.
Yeah. But also, of course, who doesn't romantic stuff
Yeah,
or
yeah,
comedy?
yeah, yeah. Rom-com, ideally, huh?
Yeah, rom-com. Yeah,
Even drama has comedy in it,
true. Drama
right?
also to a certain height. What I don't like is, like I just said, abuse against women, but
Hmm.
also some of the stories that are about plus size women.
Yes, yes, yeah. There are a number of those are very popular right now.
Yeah, those two.
Well, it's that old My Fair Lady Pygmalion story. It's Pretty Woman.
Hmm.
Remember, you ever see the movie Pretty Woman
Yeah,
with Julia Roberts,
for
right?
sure.
Where she gets made over into looking like a society lady.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, makeover films are sort of that.
Hmm.
The Ugly Duckling, that suddenly they beautify, that kind of thing. Right? You enjoy those?
No,
No,
no.
that's really
The
the
one,
Cinderella story.
the one you were saying with Julia, that I do
Roberts, yeah.
like, but the verticals who are like that, I don't.
Now, why is that?
I think because, like, the reason behind, I see seen some of them that are like wants to change her body for a man,
Yeah,
and that I don't like. I think
yeah,
if
no.
you want to change your body, then you have to do it for you.
That's an important message.
Hmm.
That's an important, really. That's a premise, and we talk about premises. And premises, not a theme, but the point. Every story should have a point.
Hmm. I agree.
That's what you just mentioned. There are a lot of verticals that do that, that come to that same point. You have to first love yourself before anyone else will love you. You know, that's a hard thing to imagine because you look in the mirror and you may not feel like you love yourself. None of us do. None of us do. We always, wish we look better or think we can look better, and we're kind of slaves to that. So that's a universal. That's a universal premise, isn't it?
Hmm.
Right. But I think that's very fascinating that you're interested with those things because verticals are morality plays, really. I think that's one of the reasons they were so popular in China. There was always a life lesson that you learn, even after a 60-second scene. Now, do you binge watch these series usually? Because it's only an hour and a half to watch
Yeah,
an entire series.
if
Hmm?
they're good, then I can watch it like right away. Everything.
Yeah. Do you ever watch it a second time or a third time?
Yeah, I have a few of them that I watch. I have
Yeah.
like a rewatch list where I put verticals on that I really like.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Good, 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 good.
So when I,
Well, it's all.
sorry,
Do you have any friends there in the Netherlands that you? Where are you in the Netherlands, by the way?
my city is called Arnhem. That's like 1.5 hours from Amsterdam.
Right. Okay. All right. Right. I know of it. In fact, I think we were even
Yeah.
filming in that area about 10 years ago. I did a film in Amsterdam and all through Europe,
Ooh.
and it was a road film. We were in the car a lot, so I think we even went through your community at that time. Funny, small world. Yeah. Do you have friends, any local friends there that are watching verticals, or have you turned any of your girlfriends or guy friends on to verticals? Hey, you gotta start watching this.
um, I have a few friends, but they're not. into verticals yet.
Yet. Would you say that what happens is people get hooked on verticals after they've watched a few?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's kind of habit forming, isn't it?
I got hooked on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's addictive, but yeah, habit forming definitely. Like I got to get my daily fix on. I got to see what's going on here with Julia and Bobby and whoever it is you're keeping an eye on. That's why I think it would be very interesting if they would do more sequels
Yeah, that's
to some of these shows. Now, even though the shows end all tied up in a nice ribbon, it's pretty finished. You still want to advance the story and see, now they're married, now they've got kids, now they're in their 40s, and their kids are the age of dating, and that there's a lot more gold to pan, you know,
mm,
that we haven't done that. Instead, we follow the actors we like from show to show to show. Right.
no,
Now,
I
what happens when you?
agree.
I'm sorry.
I
No,
agree
go
that
ahead.
there should be more sequels. Yes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that will happen. Hopefully, because it would be lovely to have a series that literally goes on for years.
Yeah.
You watch the kids growing up through the show, and all that. It's really more interesting that way, isn't it? Well, all these things are yet to happen.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're getting better? How long have you been watching Birdies?
For 2 years now.
Okay. And I've been doing them for almost 2 years as well. So
No.
do you say the quality is getting better, or does it seem about the same?
Um. Yeah. On some of the platforms, I
Hmm.
really like what Figlu is doing,
Hmm.
and Drama Box.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There are quite a few of them, aren't there?
Yeah, Real Short, Drama Wave, etc.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's very interesting. Very interesting. How do you find shows? New shows.
Mm.
I'm sorry. I'm interviewing you now, aren't
No, that's totally okay.
I?
How do I find shows? It
Mhm.
depends. Sometimes when I see like, um uh, a actor that I really like posting that they have a new show, then I check
Mhm.
that out.
Right.
Or sometimes I see it just on the app itself. It depends.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was saying, I wish we had a TV guide. I don't know if you've heard of the TV guide, but it
Yeah,
used to be when everybody was watching TV, each week the TV guide would come out and you could watch and you could circle the programs you wanted to watch ahead of time.
yeah.
So you didn't have to channel surf, right?
My
We
father
need that for
had that always, like a TV guide. So I know.
yeah, well, it's on the screen now, right? It's on the big screen, the guide there. But they should have that for verticals.
I agree.
Someone should create that. That would be a big help to all of us.
I feel like a lot of these questions we are now already talked about. Did you have a character that you did like you felt the most connected with?
Well, yeah, a few of them. More recently, yeah, Romulus, Dina Vinoli, Dina Vinolo in Matrimony. I just love that character. Just love to. He was so flamboyant and so fun and so passionate. I just love the relationship that I had with Jackson. We just hit it off
Mm.
right off the bat. He's such an easy guy to work with and so generous. He gives everything, and he's always in the moment. And it's just we just hit it off. Um, but I also particularly loved one that I did recently that I think they changed the title to um, Beauty and Brains, right? And really, what it is about me as the older patriarch of a big company, um, finding this 18-year-old girl who looks exactly like my mother. And as I talk to her, she's revealing all these things she knows about me, about my childhood illnesses, about my first dog and how he died, and all these things. And I realized by the time the conversation is over is that this 18-year-old girl is my mother reincarnated. And there's this moment of recognition, and all I say is "Mom," and just break down, and she breaks down. It was just a really touching, beautiful, uh, beautiful story. You know, that was a rare opportunity. Um, but what's interesting is when the stories come from China, they keep sending more versions of the same one. So I got another one, my 18-year-old grandmother, and it's the same script, and it's the same character saying the same thing about the same dog. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to do this. It's the same character.
Mm-hmm.
But they're different. They're different streaming companies. That's why. So Netflix wants their version, or not Netflix. Net Shorts wants their version, and I think that's why they keep coming across my table. I'm looking at these and saying, "Haven't we done this one before? Haven't you found that a lot of stories that are very similar,
Yeah.
but different actors playing it?"
Yeah, for example, my very first one that I watched is like the weirdest title again, but that was on Real Short, my first one.
Right.
That's called Pregnant by My Ex's Death.
Yeah.
And I think I have like seen 3 or 4 first versions of exactly the same
Right.
on the same app too.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing the same script, not the same script, but a similar script and playing a similar character. If I could really flip it around and do something different with it, then it would be fun. Playing the same character 2 different ways. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that makes it still a little refreshing, I think, if you
Yeah.
could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think so.
Now I need to think. Because we already talked about how you prepare for roles, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
we talked about it a little bit preparing for the role. Yeah.
or is there more you
Everybody's
do?
different. Well, every actor is different. Every actor has their own way of preparing. Like I told you, I break down the script, right? And it's the basic thing is you choose. Okay, what does this guy want? What is his objective? His objective in the show that takes him to the super objective beyond? Like for instance, right now you want to do a good interview with me. That's a good objective. But your super life objective might be that I want to take these interviews and get onto a network TV show as an interviewer. Okay. We may never see that in the movie, but we know that that's what you want beyond. So, whatever your objective is, it never changes. But in order to get that objective, you have strategies and tactics. For instance, if my objective is to win you over in this interview, okay, then my strategy will be I'm going to make you really like me. That's my strategy. Now, the fun comes in the tactics. The tactics are okay, well, how do I get her to like me? So maybe I lean in a little bit, or maybe I do it with my voice. Maybe I do it with my voice. Maybe that's one of my tactics. I'm going to speak to you in a loving manner, in a familiar manner, and I'm going to be um, almost kind of protective of you. okay, this would be tactics. And you can change the tactics all the time. I can
Mhm.
also flirt with you. I can do little things like that, whatever I want to do. And so that's what you do. You break it down and you figure, okay, I know what I want. How am I going to get it? Because that's behavior. Now I know when I'm on camera, I know how I'm going to behave. I know what my objectives are and how I'm going to get them. And that's a fascinating part of it. The fascinating part of it, because script analysis is one of the most important things an actor can learn. But most actors don't learn that because that's not offered in acting classes.
Mhm.
When I created the acting for film curriculum for the New York Film Academy, and they didn't have an acting course for film, so I had to create it for them, and so all these things had to be put into the curriculum. Uh, and then actors understood. Oh, okay, now I know what my job is. I know what I'm supposed to do. But you need to learn more about text analysis because it's a fascinating topic. There's always the protagonist, and then there's always the antagonist, right? The good guy or good girl, and the bad guy or the bad girl, right? But the fascinating character is the one in the middle, and that's
Yeah.
the catalyst. The catalyst, the one that makes it happen. Sometimes it isn't a person, and sometimes it's a circumstance, as you know, right? But the catalyst is what makes everything go. And that's what really fascinates me more. So sometimes you can play a character that seems like they're a villain, but they prove later on that they're not. They prove as the story progresses, oh no, they're not the bad person you thought they were.
Mhm.
And so I only play good guys. And one of the reasons is because my grandkids are going to see this. And they can't understand seeing their grandfather as a sadist or beating a woman up or slapping a woman. They don't understand. The grandpa slapped this woman, mom. Look, they can't, right? So I really just play good guys. But I did the Mafia show, Mafia Daddy's Surprise Sextuplets, where I played the old Godfather, and I had to order this woman to be flogged right there in front of me. And I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to become forgiven. The audience is not going to forgive me for that,
Mhm.
right? Except when I find out that she's really my granddaughter and that her children are my grandchildren, then I do a 180 degree turn, and now I'm a lovable old grandfather who mends his ways, and he's no more torturing women, no more. In other words, he learned his lesson. In other words, he is redeemable at the end. Then he can be the biggest bastard at the beginning. He has to be because it's okay. He's going to go through his trial of fire, and he's going to come out at the other end as a heroic figure. But that's about the only way you can play a bad guy. I'm concerned about playing a bad guy and having that impression be stuck on him because now the audience doesn't trust him. They're always suspicious that he has ulterior motives beyond what he's saying.
Yeah.
And you can never win their confidence back. Some actors are really good at it. Two actors are really good at that. Jeff Violet
Yeah.
is really good at that, and Mark Pontereau. He can be a bad guy. He can be the biggest prick in the world, but then he's so lovable and he's so edgy that we stay with him. We stay with him, and that's his trademark. So it works for him.
For sure.
Every actor has to know what they can get away with the audience. And the nice thing about verticals is we hear from you. We hear from the audiences. We hear from fans, and they tell us, I didn't like you in that one. I don't know. And they, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. A lot of us post reviews and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's all fascinating, isn't it?
Do you see like whenever a page is posting about shows of you or something?
Do I really like what about?
When
Sorry, I missed that first.
a fan page on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
posting reviews, for example, about your shows you're in, do you
Right.
see that and what do you think about it?
Well, I'm always very flattered. And it's so funny because some people are touched so profoundly by some of these shows. And they really talk about, you really changed my life. Wow, that's a lot of responsibility. I mean, I don't want to change your life for the worst. I'm worried if I'm changing your life for the better, that's my job now. It's like it's very personal. It's very personal, you know. And people behave differently around you when they're fans.
That's true.
They put you on a pedestal. It's like you've done something incredible. No, it's just a job. If I made a living decorating cakes, I'd be the same amount of an artist as I am now. If I worked in an orchestra, or a band, or a rock and roll group, I'd be the same level of artist, right? But we don't look at this beautiful cake and then spend 15 minutes talking about it. Who did this? I'm going to send a letter to him and tell him why I love this. We don't. A lot of great artists don't get the credit, but we're performing arts. So we get compliments a lot more than we probably deserve, and we got to be careful not to let that get to our ego.
Okay.
You know,
Sorry, uh, connection was
your audio.
the connection was for a second a little bit bad because you were frozen for a second.
Okay, I was just saying that it's very flattering and very touching when they say beautiful things about my work, right? How can you not be affected by that? And then I feel like, okay, well, now this is a friend I want to stay in touch with, you know, because if they're going to pour their heart out and say these beautiful things to me, then I know that they will probably be just as honest if I don't do that good a job. And I want to know when I'm not doing. I can't improve from good work.
That's true.
I can only improve from work that can be better, and all work can be better. But right now, everybody's in kind of this blissful cloud. We're just so happy to see this vertical thing happening, particularly after 3 years of COVID. We feel like we're outside in the world again. It's become, uh, uh, the place everybody goes, a safe place people go. These verticals, and we're lost in them, and they don't take up that much of our time.
No.
So I'm really glad that we can do that. That we can do that. We can touch people, and that their lives are maybe give them a laugh, give them a happy tear, give them something to make them, you know, feel a connection. We just had a real connection. It's not just a show; it's something important.
And
You want it to be that.
mhm. And how is doing these interviews for you? Because I know you are one of the people I see so many with so many people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I enjoy doing the interviews because you know me, I just keep gabbing. I'll just keep talking. But no, I think one of the things that amazes me most, son, is I've been doing this really since I was 8 years old, and I love it now more than ever.
Mm.
Now, I don't know how many people can say that about their jobs or about their careers. People talk about retiring. What would I retire to? Why would I?
Yeah.
This is as good as it gets. This is as good as it gets. Making a connection. I'm not alone. I live alone, but I'm not alone. You know, we have this wonderful rapport already,
Mm. Yeah.
and that's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Mm. W- Is there any show or movie like not a vertical that you would have loved to be a part of?
Well, I don't know. The thing about it is, if there's a movie that you want to be a part of, it's already been made, and you're never going to be a part of it.
Yeah,
So
but
I don't know
if
about
you
that.
had the chance to.
No, but there are times when I do look at a movie and say, "Now that's a role I would have loved to do. Oh, I could really take that character and do something with it." Yeah, I see that all the time. I see that all the time. And there's this expression. that says you borrow from the best. Because sometimes you pick up a mannerism or a line reading or a little emotional connection in a scene. You say, "That's good. That's good. I like the choice that actor made." And maybe you store it up and you think, maybe I'll try to make a similar choice sometime. We do all influence one another. We can't help it.
Mhm.
We can't help it. You know, um, if you're an actor, you usually have role models. But the same would be true if you're a writer or if you're an interviewer or whatever. Wouldn't you say? Do you feel like you have role models?
Yeah. You you mean like just in my life or vertical industry?
Oh, both, both, both. People who interview, people who, what can I say? People who influence, like people who influence your day to day life.
My father, as I just said earlier, is the reason why I love my job so much.
Yes.
Um, my best friend,
Yeah.
um,
Is your best friend male or female?
female. Um, in the vertical industry, I think his name is JJ. I don't know.
JJ
Yeah.
Michaels? Yeah. Yeah. I did a movie called uh, Hello, Let's Get Married
Mm-hmm.
with Peyton Tucker and JJ. That was one of my favorites.
My one of my favorites too.
Yeah. And he's very natural. JJ's so natural. You know, every time he says something, you believe it.
Yeah.
Peyton too is one of the most generous actresses I've worked with. She's just so wonderful. We had a scene. Did you see Hello, Let's Get Married?
Yeah. I
With you?
I said a few seconds ago that it was one of my favorites.
Oh, that one was.
Hmm.
Good, 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 good. Let's Get Married. It's a funny title, isn't it? But there's a moment where I go to get my wife's gown,
Yeah.
you know, and I pick it out, and you can see I'm holding it almost like a wreath or something, and I'm here you go, and go ahead and try it on. She goes in the other room, and now I'm alone, waiting for her to come out. And she opens the door, and I look over, and I see her wearing the gown. And then she takes a slow walk toward me, and I'm just so compelled by it. And being given that little moment, maybe 10 seconds from her being there to coming to me, and both of us starting to cry, you know, because we were provided by the director that moment to be a real honest moment without breakaway of anything else. And it was a rare treat,
Beautiful.
a rare treat. And the thing is, it creates a bond between two actors when they break through like that.
That's true. Yeah.
That's one of the things. It's the benefits that come from our career, our craft, are so rewarding. You know, I mean, it's not about the money. It's not about the fame. You know, it's about moments like that. That's why we do it.
Yeah.
At least that's why I do it. I can't speak for anybody else.
I think a lot of you guys do it because of that. I believe
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
What I have two like advice questions.
Okay.
What is something you would advise to an actor, to somebody who wants to be an actor?
What would I advise them to do?
Yeah.
I would advise that they hone their curiosity, sharpen their curiosity, because acting is a mystery.
Hmm.
Drama is a mystery. At this moment, you and I are just having a conversation, aren't
Yeah.
But there's mystery. I don't know what you're going to say next. You don't know what I'm going to say next. So all life is a mystery. All drama is a mystery and should remain a mystery. So curiosity is all about trying to find this character and make him tick, right? Find out what all the qualities of the characters are. And there are so many forms that you can fill out for characters, based out on their physiology, their psychology, and their sociology, all these different things. So you deeply immerse yourself in the human condition. And that's how you become a character, or realistically, the character becomes you. It's like changing your clothes. You know how changing a blouse makes you feel different? Just a blouse, but it makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me feel better. I look in the mirror, nah, it's not. Don't like the fit. I don't like the color. You flip over, put it in. Ah, okay, now I'm ready for the day. Little things like that. Well, that's what we're doing. We're dressing our character, aren't we? We're starting naked and dressing ourselves, really, but we're addressing ourselves emotionally as well as physically in all these other ways. So actors have to be so curious, and so they have to be like detectives at the scene of a crime, and they got to solve the case. And there's a lot of work that goes to getting us to the point where we are organic and natural, and our sense of life is the most important thing in a scene. It's not about how we say the words. It's never about how we say the words, because we don't think about that in life, do we?
True. Yeah.
We take a moment. If I wanted to ask you a personal question, like, okay, you ever been in love?
Yeah.
Okay, so that took me a moment to figure out how I was going to say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I know the script was only saying, "Have you ever been in love?" So I can't say, "Well, I'm really having a great time with you." Hey, you ever been in love? Okay, then no, that's not real. That's not organic. That came from out of nowhere. But the idea is, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking about it as you're talking, and I kind of become a little more engaged with what you're saying. And in a lull in the conversation, I say to her, so "Tell me something, son. Have you ever been in love?" Now that's organic. That's in the moment. So you try to be in the moment as much as you can. But the idea is you're doing an awful lot of mechanical work to get there. And so you can't immediately strive to try to be natural. If you're the second violin in an orchestra, you can't go jump right into full on orchestra, symphonic work. You're working your way into it as you're learning to play the instrument. If you're playing a woodwind, your embouchure, where you store the air and all that, all these things are contributing fact, right? Until the fine, beautiful performance comes out. It seems like, oh, it was so natural. Yeah, but you don't know about the 1,000 hours they put into getting that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody sees the work. We talk about the wheels turning.
Yeah.
So like when you look at a fine like a Swiss watch or a clock, and you take the back of the clock off, you see all those little pinions and gears all turning in different directions at different times, but all together to make a smooth movement of the second hand come through. Well, it's not the second hand, it's all the stuff that makes the second hand work. And a lot of actors don't do that work. And so what happens, and it happens too much in, honestly, it happens too much in verticals, that you see actors that arrive at a mood. They get the mood, but they don't get the richer, deeper emotion underneath the mood. So it's surface level. And just because you're watching a 1 minute episode doesn't mean the acting has to be surface level. You got to it's like watering a plant. Eventually, that water's got to get down to the roots, not just on the leaves, right? Anyway, that's what you have to do. So I invite actors to learn everything they can about the craft, everything, read everybody's method and system of acting. It doesn't matter which teachers you follow, because all the teachers are going for the same thing. They want you to be organic. So they have different tools. They all have different tools. And maybe that tool doesn't work, so I'm going to use this tool. And the more you know about this and the more tools you have for yourself, you're basically building a kind of a workbench. And the more you do that, the better you're going to be at making it organic, making it real, making it in the moment. But it takes years, and it never goes away. The studying has to continue.
Yeah.
I'm more of a student now than I've ever been. A student of my craft now more than I've ever
Mm,
been. These are good questions, by the way.
thank you.
Well thought out.
What did you say, sorry?
They were well thought out.
Thank you. I do my best to get into like every little piece, like acting, how you started, like verticals, a little
Yeah,
bit personal too, everything.
yeah,
Not too personal, but yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I said that I had one more advice question that was if you got to talk to like your younger you, what would you say to him?
Um, worry less. Worry less. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. You're where you have to. You're where you should be.
Mhm.
You're right where you should be. You may not be hearing it from others around you because they don't understand. Nobody understands what we do.
Yeah,
And so, and so that in one regard makes our profession a lonely one because we prepare alone, we create a role alone. Nobody can help us create a role. It's us. Sure, you can have an acting coach that might help you, but the idea is ideally it's all you doing your own work, you know. And it's just important to keep focus on the fact that while it may be lonely work, it's shared with the world.
that's true.
Right? The key and the beautiful key about film acting, vertical acting, is that you draw the audience to you.
Yeah.
You don't you don't have to go get the audience. You just invite them to
Um,
you. Invite them
got
to you.
one.
And that's different than working proscenium in the stage where you're projecting from the diaphragm and you have 500 people in an audience or 1,000 people in an audience. You can't get that. There's no close up on theater. But Birdies, you notice how often there are close ups in
Yeah,
verticals? Yeah.
I don't know if we got into this one. I think so. Yeah, we got into this one. So, what do you think people? The next is what do you think people might underestimate about verticals?
That's a good question, son. That's a really good question. What might they underestimate about verticals? Hmm. Well, um, if they look at a vertical and they're not enjoying it, they're underestimating that there's more there than what they're looking at. You know what a knee-jerk reaction is?
Yeah,
A knee-jerk reaction is like reflexes. Knee-jerk, knee-jerk, right? Okay. Something about verticals. And I think oftentimes it starts with the bad acting that oftentimes is because the writing is so over the top about the divas. The divas, oh look at her, oh let us shame, oh look at her, just a bitch, 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 bitch. They're not like in real life. They're just basically they watch Mean Girls and they watch Clueless and they watch all these other movies like Cinderella, and they're all the evil stepsisters, aren't they?
hmm,
Divas are the evil stepsisters who don't give a shit about Cinderella, right? And Cinderella's always the ugly duckling. It's the same old story, right? But they're so over the top with it, you know, that they don't have to become a cliche, but many of them are.
Yeah.
Many of them are because they're playing an idea. Oh, look at it. Oh, shut up. Stop it. Stop it. It's bad acting. Just be yourself. You're already beating the shit out of this girl. This girl who's the protagonist. She's our hero, right? Our heroine. You're already kicking the hell out of her. You know, you don't have to be mean and do this kind of stuff. It's like bad melodrama, right? For you to look at someone and say sincerely from your heart, look, you're just too ugly, is a hell of a lot more hurtful than you're just ugly. Well, that's just nothing. There's no conversation there. There's no communication there. You
Mhm.
just spit in my face. That's all you did. Okay, I wipe it away and go away. You
Yeah.
didn't get to me. And your job is to get to the other actor. I mean, clearly your character's job is to get to the other character. So, um, anyway, this in itself is a long conversation all by itself. This topic, you know, uh, because people that aren't crazy about verticals yet, mainly the males. There are no men watching these. When I went to Verticon last week, not a man in the place. All women, all the sweetest, wonderful women, who just absolutely adore birdies. Birdies is their world. The men don't get it. In a way, I think some of them like the idea that it's theirs. But they don't have to worry about the men stealing because the men watch this stuff and they laugh. They say, "Oh, please." They just think of it as bad soap operas. But every now and then a good one comes through, breaks through, and basically what we got to do is we got to go get the male audience too, because they have more disposable income to spend, and and there's a broader market to reach. But that means different genres. Film noir, murder mysteries. It's got to be action adventure. It's got to be character driven things, not always plot driven. And the goal can't always be to get married or to get the $1 billion. Those are materialistic things.
Mhm.
Um, but we'll see. Well, when the major studios start making verticals, let's see if they follow our lead or if they say, "Oh no, we don't want to do these. We're going to do our own thing." And then what happens to these verticals if they do that?
Yeah. Like always, the question: if you have to recommend one of your verticals, uh, w- to somebody who just learns about them, which one would you recommend?
I think matrimony. I'm a matrimony. Matrimony. Well, the reason I would recommend a comedy because it's easier to watch and more accessible, a comedy. And so even if it's someone who's not into the vertical thing, or if they're a man that's not into a vertical thing, um, then at least comedy will keep them there. Romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And the characters were fun and over the top, and it was just a good time, and it was a lavish visuals because the wardrobe, the outlandish wardrobe, everybody wore because they were into fashion, right? They were fashion people. So I think that's probably the most accessible one. Talk about accessible, easy to enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are others, a number of others. Driven to Love, I love that one. That was a great deal of fun. And like we just talked about, Hello, Let's Get Married, right? And then the one I did called The Pulse of Love. I had a lot of fun because he was a goofy character, goofy grandpa, and he has a death scene at the end, but it was a comic death scene, which was kind of fun. But I'm always looking for the next one. The next one I get to salsa dance.
Ooh.
Always new challenges. Huh?
Um, picking one more. What is something you still hope to achieve?
Oh wow. Um, well, there's something that I did a few years ago. I went around. I've got 3,000 students throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When I was studying at the New York Film Academy, I acquired all these international students. I had a number of students from the Netherlands, in fact, uh,
Yeah.
Amsterdam and Denmark and Copenhagen. And I decided I was going to do a movie called Where Is She Now, where I was going to go around the world and visit my students and do interviews with them about their lives since leaving the school and, what they've done to pursue their acting careers. Right? Well, that's what I want to do. I want to continue doing that as a series because I have so many students in Europe that I haven't interviewed, and I would love to come there and do interviews with them and make a film with them and all that. Because many of them spend a lot of money to come to Hollywood to learn the craft, but then they go back home and there's no industry, there's no entertainment industry, there's not a lot of actors living in Netherlands,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So you need to go with it. So they do theater more than anything else,
Yeah.
you know. One of my actresses is from Belgium, and she Brussels. A few of them are, and they left film school to go home and do more theater because they couldn't do films, right? So that's one of the things is I want to bring movies back to them. If they can't come to the movies, then we'll go to them and make a movie with them. And so we did that about 8 years ago, and it was a big hit at all the film festivals, and made me want to do a spin-off and do another show like that.
No.
Chance to later in life being able to tour the world, visit your students, see their families. Many of them have grown up and have kids now, and they're second and third generations, and it's like sprinkling the seeds and continuing to water them. I think I've become a senior that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now they're doing verticals everywhere. I'm looking for verticals that are being shot in Europe because I would come in a flash to go to Europe and make verticals.
I know now Italy is the place for most of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But they're cropping up everywhere. Even during the war in the Ukraine, they made over 80 vertical miniseries in Ukraine.
Hmm.
That's admirable, boy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to? Well, no, I guess you haven't because they aren't shooting there. It would be wonderful if you could visit a set where they're shooting verticals.
I would love,
With all
love,
the
love to.
contacts you're with all the contacts you're making here online and on Instagram, I bet you could probably find a few people that aren't that far from you that are making verticals. And I mean, they're making them in Istanbul. I've seen they've made some in France. They're making them in England right now, in London right now.
Hmm.
Um, because I think it would be an eye opener for you to see how they're made.
I would absolutely love to.
And
Mhm.
that would be the place to do interviews.
That's true.
Interview them offset when they're in between scenes.
That's one thing that I hope to achieve.
Yeah. Well, you can make that happen. Just put your ear to the ground. You can even start posting on Instagram saying, anybody shooting any vertical films in the Netherlands? You'll get somebody will respond, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, as my ending question, because let's the other ones I keep for another time. But as the ending question, do you want to say something to the viewers who are watching our talk right now? The viewers of your shows or me?
Well, okay. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. One thing I want to invite viewers to do is this. Um, I know you don't want to be critics. I know you want to be supportive of our work, but we also know that through you we can do better work. So we want you to be honest with us, and you don't have to publicly write on the posts that I didn't think you were very good in this one. You can DM me though. Right now, this is just a DM, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Just private message me saying, I didn't really like this story, or I didn't like that, or I didn't like. Tell me what you don't like, and tell me what you do want, because we need to continue to fine tune the product that we're putting out there. And you're the end user. You're the end user. If you don't like our product, then we're doing you a disservice, aren't we?
Yeah.
So feel free to not just compliment us and say all these beautiful things, but talk about the other things that you're concerned about in the business and the industry. And if we do a performance that doesn't live up to your usual expectations of our work, tell us why it didn't. Right? Because how are we going to know?
That's true.
We won't know how to be better without you. You can help us be better, and in us being better, we help you be an even better audience. So we continue to grow together. It's a beautiful contract that we have.
Yeah.
Right? And right now, I'm touched by the beauty of everyone's comments and criticism. Everybody's all positivity. We're all positivity, and I love that. I love that. Now, how can we get better?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And if you start saying we don't want to see abuse against women, believe me, that's going to go away from shows, because the ones that are being produced and written here in the U.S. don't have that.
Great.
Those are only the shows that are coming from China, from mainland China, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that message, if it doesn't fit, you're the ones that have to tell them. It doesn't do any good for us to tell them.
Yeah.
You have a lot of power as a viewer. You're the audience, right?
No,
So think about
I start doing that myself too. I became a little more critical, I think.
that. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
openly critical, not like bringing somebody down, but just
No, no, no.
critical,
Well,
political, saying things right, in my opinion.
right, right. Well, look, we're talking about constructive feedback.
Yeah.
Constructive, not destructive,
Yeah.
right? We're deconstructing, but we're not destructive, right? So I think it's hard because here you are, you're watching someone you've been watching, and maybe you admire them, and you're a fan. You feel like I can't. It's like you're criticizing your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, you're not doing a very good job. You can't do that, right? So you gotta trust that we want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact that you're not doing it as a critic would, the critic would publish everything they think about it.
That's true.
But right now, I haven't read a bad review of any verticals. They're just everybody's committed to supporting it, and that's appreciative. We're appreciating that, right? We're just barely getting up on our legs now and walking. We got to be nuzzled along by mom. You can do it now. You can do it now. Be better.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah. And you don't have to even just tell them about their work as actors. You can also talk about the subject matter, the material, the script, what did or didn't work, why you liked it, why you didn't like it, so we know how to continue to please you. We need to know what works. That's one of the reasons why the big major studios are not doing verticals yet, because we make movies for little. They make movies for millions and millions of dollars, and they don't know how to make small movies or small shows anymore. They don't know how anymore. So they're lost. And chances are they're going to try to bring the better filmmakers of these verticals into the studios and make them for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we've all got to grow
Cool.
and improve.
No, totally. I This was all I had for now.
Okay. Well, it's been charming being able to connect you now to the person I've been finger stroke conversationing with for the longest time, and you're very charming, and it's clear that you you are in it for the long run. These verticals,
Um,
and we need you, son. It's great to have you.
so thank you for joining me. A lot of fun. And
Well, vertical girl.
so again,
You
thank you. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
well, thank you for taking up a big part of your Saturday night.
No
Shall
problem.
you're my Saturday night date, I guess already. So, um, but I appreciate your questions and your enthusiasm, and you're very, very, very lovely person. Thank you so much.
Likewise.
I
Me
look
too.
I look forward to watching it. I look forward to our next interview too.
Yeah, me too.
All right,
But I have a good rest of your day.
you too, son. All right, all the best, you dear. Talk to you soon. All right.
Yeah. Bye.